What if one African leader's vision could redefine how the world views Africa's future? Could Burkina Faso's president, Ibrahim Traoré, be setting the stage for a new era of African independence and growth? In a world where many nations still rely on foreign aid and debt, Traoré has done the unthinkable. He has built an entire city of 50,000 homes for the people of Burkina Faso. But why does this development matter not just for Burkina Faso, but for the entire African continent? This is a monumental step forward, not just for housing, but for the entire future of Africa's development. It's a bold move that challenges the old colonial narrative that Africa cannot succeed without Western help. Stay tuned to discover how this groundbreaking initiative could inspire other African nations to follow suit. If you're ready to explore this remarkable achievement, don't forget to subscribe to the African Web and hit the bell icon for more updates on African leaders and their impact on our future. Under the leadership of President Ibrahim Traoré, Burkina Faso is making history. The construction of the city with 50,000 homes isn't just about providing shelter, it's about reclaiming African sovereignty. But why is this significant? For far too long, Africa has been seen through the lens of foreign aid and dependency. The Western narrative has always implied that Africa can't build its future without outside help. Traoré is proving that wrong. By developing this city, he is showing that Africa can and will create its own path to prosperity. This project represents a bold step toward a future where African nations are self-reliant, capable of utilizing their own resources for their development. It's not just about infrastructure, it's about rewriting Africa's role on the global stage. This new city, dubbed the Renaissance City, is more than a collection of buildings. It's a symbol of a much larger movement sweeping across Africa. For decades, African nations have been trapped in cycles of debt and reliance on international loans that come with heavy conditions. But here, Traoré is using local resources and African capital, building homes for his people without leaning on Western institutions like the IMF or the World Bank. Could this be the start of a wider trend across Africa? The project goes beyond infrastructure. It's about empowering the people of Burkina Faso. By employing local workers and sourcing materials domestically, Traoré's initiative is creating jobs, stimulating the local economy and boosting national morale. In a country where unemployment and poverty have been persistent challenges, this new city represents hope and opportunity. What happens when a nation can provide for itself? Could this be a model for other African countries to lift their people out of poverty without depending on external aid? This initiative marks a turning point, showing that local solutions can drive sustainable change. It raises the question, can African nations redefine their economic future by investing in their own people? Traoré's decision to involve local communities in the building process is also revolutionary. By training local workers and empowering communities to contribute, he's not just building homes, but building skills and livelihoods. This initiative is cultivating a generation of workers who can now apply these newly developed skills to other sectors, potentially sparking further growth across Burkina Faso's economy. Can this approach to development help solve Africa's unemployment crisis? Beyond the immediate benefits of housing and employment, Traoré's initiative is reshaping the narrative of what African leadership looks like. He's not waiting for foreign investors to drive development. Instead, he's creating a new blueprint for what leadership and self-reliance in Africa can achieve. Could his bold steps inspire other leaders across the continent to focus on internal development rather than relying on outside aid? Traoré's approach emphasizes a future where African nations can chart their own course, breaking free from the cycles of dependency. His leadership style offers a glimpse of what a truly sovereign Africa might look like. Moreover, the Renaissance City project is not just about housing. It's a blueprint for a sustainable future. The city will be equipped with green spaces, renewable energy sources, and efficient waste management systems. Traoré's vision extends to creating an eco-friendly urban environment that respects both people and the planet. This is a step towards sustainable urbanization that many global powers still struggle with. Africa, often overlooked in these conversations, is now setting the bar for sustainable development. Could this be the answer to Africa's urbanization challenges? The broader impact of Traoré's initiative is clear. It positions Burkina Faso as a leader in Africa's push for self-sufficiency. In a world where climate change, resource scarcity, and economic instability are ongoing concerns, Burkina Faso's ability to build a city from scratch using local resources sends a strong message. Africa has the talent, resources, and leadership to solve its own challenges. The real question is, will the rest of Africa follow in Traoré's footsteps and prioritize self-reliance over dependence? This initiative could inspire a paradigm shift across the continent, encouraging other nations to harness their own capabilities and break free from foreign reliance. Could Burkina Faso's example serve as a catalyst for a new era of African empowerment? As Traoré continues to push for this self-reliant model, it's essential to consider how this will shift the dynamics of international relations. Western nations and institutions have long held influence over African development through loans and aid programs, with Traoré demonstrating that African countries can chart their own paths without external help. Could this weaken the grip of international organizations and foreign powers on Africa's future? If successful, this approach may not only reshape Burkina Faso's destiny, but also alter the global perception of Africa's potential. And it doesn't stop at housing. The Renaissance City is set to be an infrastructure hub with schools, healthcare facilities, and markets. It's a city designed for the people, by the people. This is Africa building its future, while the West watches from the sidelines. How long can Western nations hold on to their influence over Africa when leaders like Traoré are proving they no longer need it? As Western economies struggle with instability and political turmoil, Burkina Faso is emerging as a beacon of hope for Africa's future. Ibrahim Traoré's vision for a self-sustaining, self-built city sends a powerful message. Africa is rising, and it doesn't need the West's approval or aid to do so. Could this be the beginning of a new era for the continent? An era where African nations no longer rely on foreign powers to fund their development, but instead build from within. This shift not only promotes economic independence, but also fosters a sense of pride and ownership among African nations. It emphasizes that Africa can leverage its own resources and capabilities to create a prosperous future. This project also has deeper implications for Africa's sovereignty. For too long, international institutions have dictated the terms of African development, often to the detriment of the continent. By choosing not to rely on Western loans, Traoré is safeguarding Burkina Faso's future from the economic traps that have plagued so many African countries. It's a bold statement. Africa can and will build its own cities, its own infrastructure, and its own future. This initiative underscores the potential for African leadership to redefine the narrative of development on the continent. This is just the beginning. Traoré's vision is proof that Africa is ready to lead itself into a brighter future, one that doesn't rely on foreign aid or external approval. As Burkina Faso builds its Renaissance city, the rest of the world is starting to take notice. But what do you think? Will Traoré's bold move inspire other African leaders to prioritize self-reliance and independence? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the African Web for more insights into Africa's incredible journey towards sovereignty and progress.